Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Peaches and Pumpkins. I hope you guys are all fine, and like always, I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with the book of the week that I finished. It's called Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. Now, this book was quite famous when it was released. It was just everywhere on BookTok, TikTok, booktube, Instagram, you name it. One of the reasons being that it celebrates female friendships. Now, this book is basically a memoir of navigating your 20s, falling in love, falling out of love, getting dumped, getting drunk. But most importantly, it is about realizing that your female friendships or your girlfriends are the real love story of your life. This is, I would say, the parting message that the author gives us is basically to celebrate female friendships in our life. A little about the author. She is a British journalist, also a podcaster, author. I think after this, she wrote three more books. This was her debut novel. It is released in 2018. Now, this book, it is basically a book written by a woman for a woman. It is author's, I would say, coming of age story, right from her teenage years to the time she turns 30. But this memoir, I would say, does not follow a chronological order. It's got a very unique structure. So you will read about not just her personal experiences, but also there are chapters like checkpoints, which is everything I know about love at 17, everything I know about love at 22, and then there's a chapter finally about everything I know about love at 30. There's also a chapter on shopping list, recipes. There is quite a few chapters on recipe. Like there's a recipe for heartbreak. You make a food recipe on heartbreak, someone's Belle's birthday cake, or hangover. So there are various recipes. There's chapters on text messages shared with friends. There's also a chapter on imaginary emails with imaginary friends. So it's, I would say, it's not a very neatly structured memoir. This memoir actually feels like a collage of your teenage years and your early 20s. It's like, how when you would sit and someone would ask you about your early 20s and your teenage years, and it's not necessarily that you would think of it as a journey one by one. You would think about moments, conversations, reflections, hangovers, and so that is how this memoir feels. It's like a collage of all these moments and conversations and messy bits, and the author has brought it together. But I think the most important bit uh, of this book is Dolly's, or I would say the most important relationship shared in this book is Dolly's relationship with her best friend Farley. So we follow these two friends' journey through various phases, like how. Starting with Dolly's teenage years, how they meet and how they, these two girls connect and they become the best of the friends. And then we also read about the MSN Messenger dates. Finally, Dolly enrolling in University of Exeter and how she gets into casual dating, casual drinking, her addiction with sex, and her toxic relationship with men, how she faces eating disorders post a breakup, her body image issues. We also read about her finding her job as a journalist, and how she's, which is, I think, a lot of women would relate who have girl best friends, that how when Farley is about to be engaged, how she starts getting possessive and jealous that she's losing on her, this bond that she has with Farley. So these are some of the journeys that we follow for of Dolly, right from her teenage to her turning 30. um, but I think, like I said, this book basically underlines the message that, while we might, some of us might think that female friendships are to be celebrated till the time we find that one true romantic relationship, but I think the author goes on and on to stress that it is the female, your best friends, your girlfriends, the female friendship, that is the one true love story of your life. And I think that is what that is the reason, one of the reasons this book got really famous, because there's a line in this book, which was, I think, it went like, nearly everything I know about love is through the female friendships in my life. I think so that sentence kind of was blown up on internet, and a lot of women connected with it, because who have, probably some of you who have uh, great girl best friends in life, you would relate to it. What I love about this memoir is that it's quite raw and written with a lot of honesty, So Dolly has really spoken about all of the messy bits of her life, whether it is about her casual dates, whether it is about her toxic relationship, how she had body image issues, her addiction with casual sex or drinking. She has really spoken about it in honesty. She's also, there's a chapter on her therapy session. So she's also really um, spoken about that in detail. So I think I appreciate the honesty with which this memoir is written. Now comes to the point of what I did like about the book. So I quite didn't enjoy the book. One of the reasons being that, or I would say the only reason being, is that I didn't find it relatable. So Dolly clearly comes from a upper middle class um, white woman living in London background. So her experiences are quite different and privileged. Funny and heartbreaking, no doubt, but quite privileged. So, if you're an Indian woman like me, coming from an upper middle class family, and has had a very different upbringing, you will not relate to what she has shared in this book. I mean, some of the things that she's spoken about, whether it is dating men, doing drugs, and excessive drinking, are something that are still looked upon as taboos in our society, or I would say looked down upon. And if you've had a typical Indian upbringing, you wouldn't be able to relate to any of her experiences. And I think that is what my problem with this book is. Dolly writes as if her experiences are universally relatable. I'm sorry, they are not. So, and that's the reason, honestly, at some places, I found the book very irritating. I'm like, what is she up to? Of course, like I said, the book is funny. It's written very well, and at some places it's quite emotional. Like when she talks about body image issues, when she talks about feeling jealous, some of the things you will relate to, while growing up. I'm sure most of the girls can relate to this because of the societal standards about how you look like. I mean, most of us go through, body image issues, like how you should be looking and feeling. So I think there are certain things that you would relate to, but this book is not something. Most of her experience are something that I didn't relate to, and I don't think so. A lot of Indian women can relate to this. So I think that was the problem with this book. So while it is very well written, it is heartbreaking at certain moments. It is funny, but it is not something that I would recommend to everyone to read. So if you're someone who comes from that kind of a background and have had those kind of experiences, you're going to thoroughly enjoy this book. But if not, then like I said, like me, probably you will feel alienated or irritated. So yeah, that's what this book is all about. But I loved, some of the takeaway messages, I would say, from this book. A few of them being like, of course, that you celebrate the female friendships in life. The second about that, it's okay. I mean, none of us have everything figured at 30. So it's okay if you don't have everything figured at 30. It's fine. And then, very important message also, a lot of times what happens is when we have female friendships, if they get married or have kids, we feel, that the friendship has changed or the people have changed, but it's not like that. Just the format of the friendship has changed, and that's called growth. But it's not like they don't care for you, and they don't feel about you in the same way. So I think these are some of the good messages that I liked in this book. So yeah, that's all about this book. Let me know in the comments if you have read it. What are your thoughts? But I hope you enjoyed the book review. And maybe everything that you know about love is also from your friendships, like, because one of the things the book also shares is that there are many different kinds of love in your life, family love, platonic love, friends love. So, I think, like, for me, one of the things I know about love is also from the bond that I share with my sister. I think sisterly love is great. So, yeah, so probably everything you know about love is also from different relationships in your life. So, yeah, thank you so much. That's all on this book review. I am going to see you guys next week with another title. Till then, take care, bye bye, and keep reading.